Good evening, everyone. So we are here with the cutoffs and analysis. As you can see, CLAT 2023 was underway today on 18 December 2022. Last year, the CLAT body and AILET body decided to conduct their papers in December, which is also the announcement they have made for next year. And December now seems to be a power-packed month for all the CLAT and AILET aspirants, all the young lawyers. Your month of reckoning now becomes December. So as you have seen the first impressions of this paper, there were some surprises, there were some shocks, and as usual, every entrance and tests comes with new surprises, comes with shocks, comes with bloopers, comes with ambiguity, and these are not new to CLAT and AILET. I will be surprised if there are no surprises in CLAT and AILET, even if the surprises are of incorrect data, poor answers, bad options. These are something that all of you, young lawyers, aspiring lawyers, take it into your stride. So we are going to take you through the overall analysis of the paper. We are going to take you through what are the good scores in every section, and then we will be predicting the overall cutoffs for top 3, top 5 and any NLU. So moving on. The CLAT consortium conducted this paper offline. There were no reported glitches as such from any test center. And thankfully, at least as far as paper conduction was concerned, the paper went on smoothly. Overall feedback that you have seen in first impressions also, and overall analysis that our team felt for the paper was that the paper was lengthy, though it wasn't unreasonably lengthy. It was decent. I mean, it was something that you expected, and if you have taken CLAT Possible mocks, it wasn't anything new for students. You have seen our tougher mocks, you have seen our mocks that have been pretty lengthy. The paper could have had a moderate to high attempt also. There is a catch here. If any of you got stuck with the DI section, then your attempt rate could have fallen miserably, and that could have been your undoing. So a good candidate would have judged the DI section as being extremely difficult and lengthy and would have focused on other parts of the paper. So if you were that good candidate, you could have had a very high attempt rate in this paper. So this paper would have been made or broken by your discretion, whether you spent unreasonable amount of time in the DI section or you focused on other sections like logical reasoning, which were very simple questions, straightforward answers. You could have had complete attempt rate over there. English, which was again, barring a few questions here and there, was a reasonable section and easy section. And also legal reasoning, which appeared lengthy, but the questions were doable, again barring 8 to 10 questions. So if you were that good candidate, today if you did this well, today if you dodged or ducked the DI section, you could have had a great attempt rate in the paper. So our prediction is that the cutoff is expected to be in and around, or maybe even more than last year. And you had current affairs again that were a part of the exam. So this is the overall analysis of the paper. Now coming to the section-wise analysis. The English section, the English section would have been a cakewalk for all those who were regular with CLAT Possible mocks because of heavy reading, eclectic reading that we present in our mocks. All question types were there in our mock. A lot of inference questions are a part of our mocks, and you see them also in the paper today. And you had all these words from the mocks again: anachronistic, covert, illicit. Plus source of the essay again is a staple question type, and some similar options that you recognize in the mock, and you have been taught properly, and with the analysis of the mocks you have been told what is the source, how do you differentiate between non-fiction essay, a journal, etc. Length would not have been a problem for the students in the English section, and again, the answers have to be given from the point of view of the author. This is something that again you have been taught endlessly. So all of you who took the CB mocks would have found the English section to be easy to a couple of questions that were moderate. So if you compare the eclectic reading that you see in the CLAT papers over the years, these are the topics that we have given you over the years that you have in the different CLATs. So this year, if you see the topics that are there in the paper, the Kiladi digging site, Delhi water concern, a provincial Northeast reader, those who get their texts and magazines late, then Indian English, E1 English speaker and E2 English speaker as per Chetan Bhagat and the author's take. So in this passage, Chetan Bhagat's take had to be differentiated from the author's take, and there were questions on both. What is true according to the author, what is true according to Chetan Bhagat? Then the internet and its use and abuse and overuse, all internet and Indian English, all these are topics that you have done in the mocks itself. And the Rushdie excerpt, which is Harun and the Sea of Stories. So a small excerpt from Salman Rushdie. We have given you passages in the mocks on Salman Rushdie's articles and essays endlessly. And if you compare with 2021 and 2022, you can see the nature of eclectic reading that is presented over the years in CLAT and why we focus a lot on reading, So technology has been the main focus, and you've seen that in our mocks also over the 2 years. Last year you had cryptocurrency, this year in June, you had cryptocurrency, speech and their impact, animal rights, washing hands. 2021 fiction, Sherlock Holmes was there, pandemic, the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, vaccine diplomacy. So over the years you see the importance of eclectic reading, and these were the list of topics that were found in the 2023 CLAT paper. So the English section, other than the list of topics, a good score for the English section is touted somewhere between 22 to 24 marks. That is the expected score for this year's English section, a good score. And you had question types on different vocabulary. There were word-based questions in every passage. Then there were questions on source. There was one figure of speech question where you had to find out the sound of onomatopoeia as used. To another question where you had to speak about the style of the author, in which it was asked whether the author is using synonyms or aphorisms or metaphor. So one figure of speech question like this, another onomatopoeia question. The figure of speech was not asked, but you were expected to, I would call it a word-based question. Which word is used with the sound of water, which was in the Delhi water concern passage? And how is the author writing? Using synonyms versus, in the internet passage. So these were the types of questions, and the rest of them were questions, 90% were inference-based, and a few questions on specific details as presented in the passage. So that's 22 to 24 in the English section, which is what we predict to be a good score in the English section. Current affairs were difficult. A few good questions were there. You had topics like presidential elections, sports, and agriculture. and students had studied these, and there were topics that were tough and unexpected also, as was felt by the students. So you had hedge funds related question, a lot of technical details related to science and technology, questions related to Roger Penrose, the mathematician. These were some of the unexpected topics that you could have seen in the current affairs section. As opposed to regular GK asked in 21 and 22, which had space and technology, defense, international relations, Indian economy. So you had some very technical questions also this year in the GK section. I think in the first impressions, kids have given you, that interaction with the students have given you a lot of idea as to how they were disappointed with some very, very technical details that were asked by the CLAT paper. So in spite of this glitch, those who are preparing for CLAT 2024, my suggestion to you would be to continue to prepare for GK in a regular manner, because if the questions, if some of the questions or even half of the questions take an unusual turn, there is no way you can prepare for them. So your focus should be to prepare for the aptitude part of the paper. Focus on the apti parts, focus on the 3 reading sections. Reading sections will not ditch you ever. They will only have 1 or 2 issues here and there with subjectivity. But if the GK takes an unusual turn, last year also some questions took an unusual turn. This year a lot of questions took an unusual turn. So there is no way you can plug those holes. There is no way that you can, prepare so well that you can handle any unusual question that is asked in the paper. That's not something that you will be able to do. So prepare for GK regularly for those 15, 20 questions that you can answer, which are regular current affairs question. Don't try to, change your preparation just because of this paper. And because in your year, maybe there is another unusual turn. So never try to prepare according to exceptions or unusual questions, and focus a lot on the preparation for the apti part. That's what I always tell my students. So an expected cutoff or a good score in the GK section would be around 14 to 16. Keeping in mind the regular topics that were asked in the paper. A good score would be 14 to 16. Then we come to data interpretation. Data interpretation was 15 questions. So the GK was 35 questions. English was 30 questions. 30 questions across 6 passages. GK was 35 questions. Data interpretations was 15 questions. 3 sets, 15 questions. All were passage based. There was no graph, no visual data given. You had to make the graph or visualize the data. You had to do the coding. You had to do the charts, just like last year. There was a lot of time that was going into tabulating of the data. That's what should have been your first hint for you to abandon the section after the section time. So if you remember, children, every year, every month, every day, every week, I have stressed section time. Do not exceed the section time. So if your 15 minutes had passed and you had not done anything substantial, that should have been key to move on. Your 15 minutes are over. But if you spent extra time, you actually took the time from another section which was easy. So a simple rule is respect the section time. If that section time is over, leave that section, do the other section, come back. If the other section is easy and you have time left, come back, but never exceed the section time. So all the children who exceeded the section time today for DI would have felt the pain because they missed out on simple questions in logical reasoning, simple questions in English, and lengthy but simple questions in legal. So respect section time. This is what I always tell you. And today was a live manifestation of what I told you. So if your 15 minutes in DI were over, or 20 minutes, whatever section time, 15 to 20 minutes you give, you should have moved on and not worried about it. Because this took a lot of time 2 sets were very, very lengthy, that required a lot of calculation. Only 1 set was doable. So you had caselets based on production and percentage, which has been the trend every year, caselets based on average, and caselets based on percentage again. So every year you get caselets on percentages, averages, profit loss. This year these were the 3 sets that were given in DI. So a good score in the DI section was anywhere between 1 to 4. If you found that doable set, maybe you got 4 marks. And I would suggest that even a 0 is a good score here. If you had invested that time better, the extra time that you gave, I'm not saying the 15 minutes, but if you understood this and gave that time to another section, maybe, you could have done much better there. Logical reasoning, you had 30 questions based out of 5 passages. So 6 questions were asked per passage. Like English was 6 passages, 5 questions per passage. Logical reasoning was 5 passages, 6 questions per passage. And this was the breakup of the question types there. You had inference-based questions. Again, in English and logical reasoning, inference ruled the roost. So in 15 inference-based questions, you had weekend questions, right? Problem-solving questions. That's something that we take up in method of reasoning. 2 strengthen and 1 assumption question. Author would agree or disagree with questions, which is 1. So inference questions, strengthen, weaken, right? All question types were present, and problem-solving questions from method of reasoning were asked. So the topics for the 5 passages were print and social media, television, why print media is going out, evaluation of male and female professors, and how the stereotypes are entrenched. This is something that you have probably done it in our 6 to 7 of our mocks, stereotype questions that we give you. Depreciation of the rupee, you have done this probably in 3 mocks, if not more. Contemporary media and clickbait, you have done it in our mocks. And carbon emissions, fossil fuel, you have done it at least in 6 or 7 of our mocks. These are anyways the current topics, and you have seen them all in the mocks, right? So this was the type of questions, passages that were given this year. In logical reasoning, the expected good score was somewhere around, 22 to 25 marks. A good score was 22 to 25 marks. Legal reasoning was 40 questions. The ideal score here was 28 to 30 marks because these are easy. All the passages were from current legal topics, that is again nothing unusual, and none of the passages were from core legal issues. You have had mocks where we have given you current legal topics. I remember the mock number 32. Lots of you complained, what is this? What type of question is this? But look, you had topics in legal from current legal scenario, not any core legal issue. So again, it was, I would call it a reading based section, just as English and logical reasoning. So it was a reading based section. All the current issues were covered in the again in the legal section, and the mocks were and the paper was based only from current legal issue. So I remember the second or third last mock you had this, and none of you seem to be pleased with it, but this is where we are. The topics for the legal reasoning were electoral bonds, 2 of them, then section 498A IPC Bombay High Court order, surrogacy regulation, this is something that you have seen in our mocks as well, Consumer Protection Act, Criminal Procedure Identification Act of 2022, and Free Legal Aid Legal Services Authority Act. All these Current Affairs Act were also a part of the legal section. And again, you have done all these topics, if not in the legal section, but at least in our logical reasoning section. where we take up current legal issues also as a part of the section. So there was no shift in section-wise questions in CLAT 2021, 2022 and 2023. You have English 30 questions in all the years, GK 35 questions, legal 40 questions, maths 15 and logical reasoning 30 questions. So there seems to be no change in the section-wise division of questions, no change in the paper pattern in terms of question distribution or style of asking the paper. What we saw in the AILET paper, where there was one passage and questions on English and reasoning were asked from the same passage, which I feel is a very good idea because that reduces your reading. You get more time per question because you're reading less. But anyways, that kind of shift was not seen in this year's paper. So the pattern was predictable and questions were also similar in all the sections. So on a scale of 1 to 5, as with this case every year, GK has always been a more difficult section that has been asked. English has always been an easy section. Maths and DI, 21 was easy, but the last 2 years maths and DI has been a difficult section. Logical reasoning, just like 21 and 22, was a very easy section. And legal reasoning, though lengthy, just like 21 and 22, was an easy section. So in a nutshell, all the students who have, who have been reading, who have been focusing on reading-based sections of the paper, which is English, logic and legal, they will definitely score a lot in this paper, because if you see the trends for 21, 22 and 23, the difficulty level of the reading-based sections is not much. So if you prepare for these sections, you are likely to score very high marks in these sections. GK takes any type of turn. So depending on the GK section is not a very good idea for any future CLAT aspirant. Prepare your GK properly. Do not try to plug and prepare for the different irregularities that you notice in this section, because you don't know which irregularity will come up. Instead, focus that time on the preparation of English, logic and legal. Though the DI section in 21 was simple, last 2 years it has taken a turn. And in both the years, you are not given any visual data. Tabulating very calculation intensive data takes a lot of time. So in DI, investing that time is not such a good idea, because you'll end up spending about 30-40 minutes just trying to do the calculations. Instead, you spend that time solving the entire reading based section properly. So your takeaway from here is, all those who have invested in the reading sections well, who have taken reading sections as their primary sections and have focused and given good time to it and solved the section properly, they are the winners for CLAT 2023, just as it was the case in CLAT 2022. And if you see the rank 1, rank 5, rank 3 candidates that were from Clat Possible, they focused on the reading sections only. And with not such a great score in GK, they have got these enviable ranks. So the same trend continues with 2023. So this is in a nutshell the good scores for the different sections. Again, in English 22 to 24, those of you who have given good time, adequate time to the English section are expected to come out with a good score, anything up 24 plus for all those who have invested time there. GK, this is the score that we are expecting as a decent score, plus minus there. Maths 1 to 4, if you found the good set. And again, logical reasoning, very simple section. So somewhere in the range of 25 plus is also expected in logical reasoning. And legal, if you have not wasted time in DI and have given time to these 3 reading sections, it was easy to score anywhere between 26 plus. So these are our good scores for the paper, right? All right, children. So now let's come to the cutoffs. Tier 1 and law schools are NLS, Nalsar, Kolkata, Jodhpur and GNLU. So NLS, the cutoff is expected to be not very different from last year, anywhere between 97 to 100. Tier 1 and LUs, 91 to 99, and the cutoff for any NLU will be 80 plus. Now this cutoff is as per the second list. This was the actual cutoff as per the fourth list. So after second list, the cutoffs can drop to anything, so we don't predict those because it depends on candidates and who's going where. So our cutoffs for this year are anywhere between 90 to 99, 91 to 99 for top 5 NLUs, with 97 plus for NLS. And for any NLU, right up till the second list, we are looking at a score of 80 plus. So I hope you are making these cutoffs. I hope you will be able to score these cutoffs. And for NLS, you know, the last 2 years, the cutoff has been above 100. So I won't be surprised if this is the cutoff rather than this. So 100 to 101 could also become the cutoff. So this year as well, for NLS, you should be touching 100 and 91 to 99 for any of the top 5 NLUs. And I repeat, 80 plus for any NLU would be the cutoff as per the first maximum second list. The actual cutoff is 73.25, but that is as per the fourth list, the last candidate that has gone in through the list. And this cutoff can also go lower if you are looking at vacant seats. So we do not predict those cutoffs. Great. So tell me about what you think of the cutoffs. It'd be great and interesting to chat with you regarding the cutoffs. And these cutoffs are based on these scores that we are showing you here. I've already discussed 22 to 24 for English, 14 to 16 for GK, DI around 2 to 4, logical reasoning 22 to 25, and legal reasoning is 28 to 30. Right? And just a summary of general cutoff versus overall any NLU cutoff. That's it from my side. And I hope to hear from you. Please tell us what you think about the cutoffs and the overall analysis of the paper. Very shortly, you will be seeing the individual section analysis now. And our answer key is up on the website. So please go and click on the answer key notification on the website. Answer key for CLAT 2023 is up on the website. Please go and click on the answer key notification and get the answers out. The question paper for which the answer key is made is also uploaded on the website. So please do check the question paper code before going to the answer key. It will mention the code. And the question paper is also uploaded. Just in case your question paper code is different, then you can match the passages from the question paper that we have uploaded. And do not go anywhere. Section-wise analysis of the paper is coming to your way now. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day. And please be mindful of what I told you, all the CLAT 2024 takers. Thank you so much. That's it from my side. The cutoff and analysis of CLAT 2023.